So we are out here. I've got the cover off so that I could test this thing with the body off. But what I'm going to do is put the body on now. Just want to make sure everything works before I go ahead and put this body on. So we'll be right back as soon as I get the body on and we get this thing fired up. I'm going to give it a rip today, the same remote spot that I ran last time. We'll be right back. All right, got the body on. Just going to pump the primer. Make sure our red light is on. Turn the choke on. Should be a couple pulls and it should try to fire, and then 2 pulls and it should start. Sounded like the first pull it wanted to start. Gonna let it warm up a little bit. Try to get some temperature into it. Hopefully this fixes it. I want to keep my finger on the cutoff switch, so I keep looking down at the remote. Seems to be doing pretty good even with the impacts. We'll see. Oh, ran into a bush. I didn't even realize there was a tire here either. This is some rough ground over here. I did fix the sway bar. My eyes are watering like crazy. Got a bunch of bush in there. Oh, something stopped driving. Looks like we only have rear-wheel drive. But I have control of it the whole time. Either we let me kill this thing. Let's see if our remote kill switch works. Works like a charm. So to me it looks like either the center diff broke or the front diff. Well, the diff is moving. Oh, it looks like the pin came out of the front diff. So at least we were able to get a bash session. I don't know where I'm gonna find a pin for this thing. Hopefully the pin is somewhere in the chassis. But it looks like our Runaway issue is solved. Looks like I have a little bit of fuel coming out of the cap too. Looks like it's coming out of the breather of the cap. But very fun rip session. I think all our problems with it is solved. That's the first mechanical breakdown I've ever had, but I haven't been checking the screws or anything on this thing. I just threw in the motor and went and ripped it. But I don't know, looks like a pin is gone off the front drive shaft. I don't know what holds the pin in or what it is. There's probably a grub screw that fell out, something like that is what I would imagine. But there we go. Looks like the fix is fixed. Looks like it was a receiver after all. I do want to talk about something else that somebody made a very good comment about. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back at the pad. So there's something I wanted to talk about. So these old flapping lips left a comment, says, per our last video, it is a signal issue. That the magneto is causing it. The one option is to move the RX as far away from the magneto as you can. So my reply was, and as you see, this is as far away as the receiver can get from the magneto, because the magneto is over here. So we're 18 inches. My reply is, it's not a backfeed issue. Oh, he put, it's not a backfeed issue because I had left a response. He says it's not a backfeed issue. It's an electromagnet shield due to the spinning magneto, which is the magneto right here. He's saying it's causing a field, not through the power lead, kind of like we always put filters on alternators because they would make your radio whine back in the day, because the power line would go over to the battery, and anything connected to power, even inside the car, you would get a whining every time you would rev it up due to the electromagnetic field in the alternator. So we would always stick on a filter. Filter would go from the power line to ground, and that's a noise suppressor. So it suppressed the noise so you didn't get the humming. And that's what I originally thought he was talking about, is that it's feeding through the line, because he was saying that make sure you have a resistor spark plug, or somebody was saying that, because that also causes it. Well, that's also noise suppression, because people were thinking there was noise, and that's what was causing this intermittent problem. So I told them, well, you know, if it's noise, I can test for it. I can put a meter on the power line and signal noise. I can see if there's noise in the power line. But I really don't believe that's what it is. And he's like, no, it's an electromagnetic field, and you can't test for that. I'm the type of person that loves to test for stuff. So, because I want to know for sure, you know, what's going on. So that's why I'm so in detailed into my videos, is because of I do every test that I know how to perform, just from the automotive field, working on 12 volts, which this is low voltage as well. So this stuff is usually pretty easy to me. So in seeing that him saying that, I can test for an electronic or electromagnetic field generated by this magnet, but there's no way the field is coming from here all the way inside this receiver box. That's too far away. If the receiver was back here next to it somewhere, I could see something like that. So I definitely wanted to bring it up. It definitely was a cool theory. And it could have been a theory that's possible, you know, but there is ways to test for it. So if there is an electromagnetic field caused by this magnet, I'd like to see a test somewhere on YouTube in an RC car with a 2-stroke motor, somebody testing for the electronic or electromagnetic field causing an issue. I'm not one to just take somebody's word for it that, oh, yeah, it was creating an issue, so I went ahead and replaced it out, and now it's good. I'm not a Spectrum fan either. I don't like Spectrum products. I honestly don't. But the whole reason I bought Spectrum was because these were the replacements for this RC. Whole reason I went with a stock motor on this thing as well. And shout out to RC Smith Studios, because he was the one mentioning on these front drive shafts that when you go up on the CCs on the motor, you start having front drive shaft issues, and that's something he didn't like on the older DBXL. And apparently the new DBXL 2.0 has straightened out this issue. So I have a pin missing. It didn't look like it broke the cup or anything, but I'm going to tear it down and check. And hopefully I can find a pin for it. If not, I'll make a pin for it. Whatever I got to do, I'll get a pin back in it. And then I'll check the rear one to make sure it's not falling out as well. And then what I'll probably do is put heat shrink over the top of it and heat shrink it, so the pin, even if the grub screw comes loose, if there's a grub screw holding it, if that comes loose, it'll hold the pin in. And then I'll put Loctite on them both. But long story short, shout out to everybody leaving comments. I do read them. I definitely like to perform tests on stuff rather than just buy parts, and that was the whole reason I didn't change the servo on this run, because if the servo was backfeeding into the receiver, I would imagine it would just hang open the throttle and I'd still have steering. That was my theory, but because I was losing both, I knew it was in the receiver. And the reason I knew it wasn't in the signal, it definitely wasn't a signal loss, because the light on it, when this glitch would happen, it would flicker the light. And when you're not bound to the receiver, it sits there and blinks and looks for it. So, or it doesn't even light up. I think it just stays off on this one. Or on the old one. I don't know about this new one. I think the new one has colors red and orange or green or whatever. I don't know. But it looks like I have the problem fixed. So I'm going to get this thing cleaned up I did want to shout out that electromagnet field generated from this. If somebody knows of a test that somebody's performed and saw this electromagnet field causing an issue with a receiver, now I'm not talking about a receiver mounted right on top of it that's 12 to 18 inches away from it, I'd love to see it. Or is it backfeeding through the power line, like a generator alternator or a non-resistor spark plug? Because non-resistor spark plugs will also whine and put dirt, as you will, into your power lines to where it's not a clean power line, to where there's noise in all the powers. And this one only has power going from the coil to the kill switch straight over to the receiver. Well, now it's going through the cutoff switch and then to the receiver. But there you go. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for everybody commenting. I think we got that part of it fixed. Now we're going to work on the drive shaft, and my goal is to get out there and just start ripping this thing. I know all my boots are starting to rip because this is an older RC, but I enjoy it, and out there ripping it today. This is why I put all the time and money into this, is because I truly enjoy racing this RC, and I like the body. The K&N body I think is pretty cool. So there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.